Deepak. I hope he's following. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 27, entitled Tag by Chandravek in the city of King Puranjana, text 22. Okay. Last time, anybody remembers what were the points? Yes.
When the lust is not satisfied, you become angry and greedy. Lust is our greatest enemy.
Okay, the lust is not satisfied, you become either greedy or angry or both. Okay. Okay, any other points? Do you remember anything? Okay. Okay, we should control our senses. Why? Because what? Why should we control our senses? If you don't control, you go mad. How mad? What does that mean? Okay, you go on satisfying your senses, that will keep you away from Krishna. Okay, yes.
In chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned, it talks about the downfall. There's a process.
Okay, the IIT Vishayam Satsanga station. By contemplation, the downfall. Completely, one may lose control over himself, subtly and grossly. That's why we should control the senses. Otherwise, we become overpowered by what? By lust mostly, and or its whatever side effects, and then we become slaves. We don't become masters. We become slaves. That's why controlling the senses is an important part of our life. Okay, any other points? Because that means you're controlling your body is controlling you, or your mind, even better. Okay, any other points? Something? Yes?
The way you live your life, it affects your life. So don't exploit your body.
Okay, we exploit our body to reflect on our old age. So what did we discuss about old age? Remember that? What was the point about old age?
As the Krishna Consciousness as soon as possible.
Okay, Prahlad Maharaj is advising us to practice spiritual life as soon as possible. Well, what was it about old age? That was the main topic. Old age, yes. Okay, senses are weak. Can't do anything. That's another thing. So now the senses are so strong, they're just absolutely uncontrollable. No? But in old age, they're weak. And now you identify with those senses, and then you will identify with those senses, but then you'll be very disappointed. And then the worst thing, even your mind will not become weak. Your mind will remain as demanding as it's now, or even worse, because of too many attachments. But your senses will weaken. Just imagine that position. Just imagine when you sometimes desire so many things, but you cannot fulfill those desires. What a torture that is. It's really heavy. So that's similar position, because your mind is still demanding. Mind doesn't grow old. Mind is mind. It's a different element. And but body breaks down. Just today I was cleaning fan, and I just pressed this part which is like on top of the fan, that one which surrounds. This makes it a little more. Yes, surrounds the motor. It just makes it a little more nice, looking, aesthetic kind of whatever. And I wanted to clean it, I just pressed, it just bursted like in plastic, just completely finished. Just everything fell apart. Just few, just little press. I don't know how he was holding so far. It's completely disintegrated. So body just like this, like looks like there is something, it looks like some solid shape, this, but it's completely finished. Useless. See how old age people they suffer, so much suffering. So many. Just recently, I was on the body, our librarian, so he said, I have 7 diseases. It's pretty heavy. So he said, and it's difficult. Nobody can understand it. And people also they become irritated very easily. Anything that you disturb them somehow, they just become very, very angry, very disturbed, because it pains them more. And especially when you are with someone who cannot understand your position. So it's like that's why young and old people don't go well together. It's very difficult. It's a big struggle. It's a big struggle. That's why ancient family society, family system, unit, how was that called? Family, big family, when you have joint family, somehow everybody has its own quarter. Still, whatever all together, but still everybody had a little corner or something, because young people, they like to scream. Hey, this the kids, they run and scream and shout and make so much noise and throw crackers and like that. And old people, they go crazy. They can't tolerate that much noise and that much disturbance and a lot of passion, and it just becomes very, very disturbing. And young people see, what is this? So that's like this is so boring. Nothing's going on. It's just not matching. They cannot understand unless you have some knowledge and some etiquette or something. You try at least, but otherwise it's incompatible. It becomes very difficult. So, like Srila Prabhupada said, why we are discussing this now, you may say we are all young, who cares about all of that? But Prabhupada said very clearly, don't think that this is not going to happen to you. It's not going to take too long. So at least we should be somewhat aware. Okay. So yes, so last, any other points or will? Yes. Okay, Yati was not satiated with his lust. He even took youth of his own sons, trying to satisfy it, and still he wasn't satisfied. Amazing, huh? So he gave that wonderful in Srimad Bhagavatam. He gave that wonderful statement, very powerful statement. So it's just like fire, no matter how much fuel you pour into it, it will never become extinguished. Keep on burning and burning, never satiated, never satisfied. So like that. So then he had a very powerful realization. He attained some enlightenment. Okay, so last verse was, which nobody mentioned, it was the Jara, right? We talked about Jara, the daughter of time, old age. So she was very anxious to marry whom? Everyone, yes, but Narada Muni. But Narada Muni refused her. And what she did, she cursed him. And this is what extends now to today's verse, which is very interesting. We will see now what it says. Okay, the last time also Srila Prabhupada said, it requires great strength to resist a woman's attraction. It is difficult for old men, and what to speak of young. Those who live as brahmacharis must follow in the footsteps of great sage Narada Muni, who never accepted the proposals of Jara. And Prabhupada, we said, we were talking that Those who accept Jara, then because she is Jara, Jara, then very soon they become old, become worn out. That's what old age means. Okay, so today, let's say today. My son, Sandrabhya Vipula, Madach Cha Chapam, Suduksh, Suduksha, Suduksaham, Sthatum Arhase, Naikatra, Yad Yachna Vimuktone. Okay, translation and purport by His Divine Graces, the great sage Narada continued. When I refused to accept her request, she became very angry at me and cursed me severely. Because I refused her request, she said that I would not be able to stay in one place for a long time. Purport. The great sage Narada Muni has a spiritual body. Therefore, old age, disease, birth, and death do not affect him. Narada is the most kind devotee of the Supreme Lord, and his only business is to travel all over the universe and preach God consciousness. In other words, his business is to make everyone a Vaishnava. Under the circumstances, there is ordinarily no need for him to stay in one place for more than the time requires to preach. Since by his own will he is already traveling all over the universe, the curse of Kalakanya is described as fortunate. Like Narada Muni, many other devotees of the Lord are engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord in different places and in different universes. Such personalities are beyond the jurisdiction of material laws. Okay, so here we have this, what we said, it's extending from the last verse. Jara approached Narada Muni. And of course, do we think that Narada Muni now it's obliged? This is one of the greatest misconceptions that all of us have. If I approach someone, that someone should be obliged to respond positively. We think, oh, I like this girl now, she should accept me. Why? But we have very often such kind of misconception. Of course, very often we are faced with reality of being refused or whatever. But there is that conditioning that somehow everybody feels then dejected, bad, whatever. There's so many different negative symptoms. But why would we have that conception that somebody, just because we like somebody, that somebody has to like you? No. And we see in this world, it's impossible because everything is governed by different modes, and many modes just don't tolerate each other. There are some compatibilities, but sometimes and most often there are no. There's nothing that's compatible. So sometimes we think, I like someone and I like this and that, but that someone doesn't necessarily have to like you. Or to whichever extent. And then there are so many times we have, boys coming, they said, oh, this girl did this, and that, it's like so many things happen. And then they can't, get together for months. How they were rejected and how this happened and that happened, and the mind just goes wild and crazy. But why we have that misconception in the first place? That, if I think I can enjoy someone, it's actually very selfish in the first place. We like someone because we think they will make us, more prominent, happier, prestigious, whatever it might be. That's what marriages are all about, mostly, because if you see, to extend the prestige of the family, wealth of the family, influence of the family, this and that. Usually that's what's looked at. Yeah. You don't marry someone to anybody who's not going to extend it. Who's not going to reduce that. You want to extend it. You want to make it more glorious, more influential, more opulent. That's how you match the marriage. Mostly that's the case. Of course, they don't consider qualities. That's something that's missing nowadays. It used to be. But why would somebody respond? Why would somebody be obliged to respond? And then we get disappointed. So that's a mistake. That's complete illusion. Why would we have to get disappointed in the first place? That's why brahmacharis, for example, they have a very good training. Very good training. What is the training? You go out and you do madhukari. What does that mean? Whatever you beg, whatever you've been given, that's what you eat throughout the day. And not even that much. First of all, you have to submit that to your guru, and whatever your guru out of that allots to you or gives you. If he forgets, he's busy or something, then you fast. You don't get anything that day. Might happen. So you just really have to learn how to be completely detached. Completely detached. And it's not that when you go and you beg at every door that you expect, yes, everybody's going to treat you like give you a royal treatment or something, invite you in and wash your feet or something. You know? No, it's not going to happen like this. Sometimes you may get half a roti. Sometimes you may get nothing. Most of the time you get nothing. Sometimes you may get little this, little that, maybe one fruit or something. I don't know, whatever it might be. So that's how you learn. It's such a good training that you learn that you don't have illusory expectations. You just learn how to really depend on Krishna. And whatever comes, you accept. Whatever comes, you accept. So that was the training. And it's not that you curse people. Like there's one story in Mahabharata. One brahmachari was going, and then he cursed some birds, and the bird fell dead. Then he came to one lady, and she was taking some time, so he was becoming impatient, and he wanted to curse that lady, but that lady said, "Don't think that I'm like a bird." She knew he was a little more advanced. Of course, the point was that brahmacharya is not all in all, but the spiritual progress, it's more important. Spiritual consciousness. But the idea is that one learns so many things. One learns so many things, even just through the practice of detachment. But one should not have expectations. One should be detached. If you have expectations, then yes, then you're whatever position you are, then that position is incomplete position. It's not perfect condition. Position, it's not even desirable. It's like that so-called, brahmachari, okay. But he had expectation. You cannot have an expectation. You cannot have expectation. Now I go out and then everybody, because I'm whatever, brahmachari, whatever, this and that. So people have to give me. No, they don't have to. You have to learn how to be detached and not have an expectation. That's a very important principle in life. So whatever comes, that's what you get. That's what you take. This is very good. This is maybe you are not doing. You might not be doing this madhukari kind of practice. Nowadays, of course, it's not advisable so much because most of the people, like you said, in India nowadays, only 30% are vegetarian. Even if you get anything from anyone, you get heavy karma. Not so good practice anymore, unfortunately. But we can do the same thing, at least same principle, followed by distributing books. And again, you will approach so many people, and so many people will reject you, and even maybe get heavy on you and chastise, and so many things may happen. But still, one should remain steady, fixed, and continue with distribution. And one learns the same principle. And it's not that I have an expectation and anybody approach, they have to take the book. It would be nice, it would be great, but you can't have that expectation. You have to learn how to be realistic first of all, and then control your senses also, including your mind. Anyway, so in the same way, if one hopefully develops such kind of qualities, has such an experience, and then in any relationship, you cannot, yes, I like someone, therefore now, let's say she or something belongs to me, or the other way around. It's not necessarily like that. It's not that whatever I want, I will definitely have. It doesn't work like that. You have to learn how to, of course, life will teach a very heavy lessons, and then you learn how to settle down, and settle down, and settle down, and settle down for whatever becomes available. If you're still interested in such kind of settling down, and then you set so low, then that's sometimes pitiful, you know, what the situation is. So better that one doesn't, in many ways, settle, that one just surrenders to Krishna and accepts whatever comes along on its own accord. That's a spiritual principle. And just being satisfied with whatever simple there is, and one continues to focus on devotional service. So that's why when there is some, you know, like this, Jara came to meet Narada, and she, like Narada, we said, we were talking that, you know, sometimes people who control senses, or at least attempt to control senses, there is some attraction there. But like, we know the quality of renunciation is also quality, it has its own attractive features. So then somebody might be attracted. Somebody might be attracted, and sometimes we do see that in many cases, that there is attraction. So Narada Muni is definitely most renounced. There's no attraction for anyone or anything except Krishna, and anything but in connection to Krishna. So Jara became very, very attracted to Narada Muni, and she approached him, and then she proposed. You know, let's have a Gandharva marriage. What that means, Gandharva marriage. You know that? Gandharva marriage means that both sides, on the first side, they agree, yes, we are married now. Very good, very nice. That's Gandharva marriage. Of course, you can have Rakshasa marriage. Anybody knows there are 8 types of marriages? 8 types of marriages. You know what is Rakshasa? Yeah, kidnapping, yeah. So there are 4 that are favorable, 4 are not. Of course, unless Krishna does it. So like this, so Jara had this idea that yes, Haribol, Narada Muni, let's go. You know, it's like but Narada Muni is not obliged. Not obliged. So why did she get upset? Why did she get upset? Narada Muni is a brahmachari. First of all, culturally also, what's your business, you know, getting upset if somebody is following celibate life? Your qualities should be clear. If he would want to marry you, their wife, let's say, or whatever, you know, he would be in position. He would be very clear what is his position. Then why are you coming in disturbing? So if that's clear, then why are you getting upset? So Jara was very upset. She felt rejected. But that's my point. I'm trying to discuss so far that, you know, why did she get disappointed? First of all, it was very clear by Narada Muni's position. He's not interested in. He's not going to. So why are you getting upset? Because he's not going to get married. He's not having any interest, no desire. So we also like this. You may approach someone, and somebody may be, you know, in a completely different universe and having different thoughts and thinking of someone else or whatever, and now you have an expectation, and you get disappointed. But what's your business of getting disappointed? That's you see how illusory conceptions we cultivate, and then we get disappointed. That's how throughout the whole life, you know, we have so many illusory conceptions. I'll be like happy like this, I'll be like happy like this. But when you face the reality, you know, blown in the head, reality is something else. It's only in your mind, it's only in your script. You think I can enjoy like this and I can enjoy with someone else like that, and this. That's only your script. The person, it doesn't match. It's a different drama play going on. It doesn't work like that. So why are you getting upset if someone else has a different script? That someone else is not under your control. So why are you getting upset? So it wasn't correct on the part of Jagat to become upset, because there was nothing that indicated that Narada Muni is, you know, desiring to get married or something. So you see what the lust does. That lust, when somebody is just absolutely unconsiderate about anybody else, yeah, Like Jara, was she considered about Narada Muni, what is his position and what he wants? Did she ask him, or would you like to marry or something? No, she just came, okay, let's go, beautiful. She didn't even consider him. What is your plan? What are you doing? This, that, nothing. She did nothing. She was just, I want to marry you, now you're mine. Narada Muni said, it doesn't work like this. It doesn't work like this. So that's how we act in the material world, because we are so self-centered, we are so selfish. We don't consider anybody else's position. Would you like to do something that I also want to do, whatever? So sometimes that becomes the case, but many times it's not the case. Then why are we getting upset? Why are we getting upset? Yeah. Why are we disturbed then if somebody that doesn't have the same desire as we do. So that's what has to be clear. That's what has to be clear. So then, of course, what is then immediate reaction? Just like we see what happened in today's verse, what happened. Then she cursed him. Then she cursed him. Somebody rejects you, somebody refuses you, and oh, I curse you. I curse you. But what is, of course, first of all, what's the use of that curse? That curse doesn't have any potency. That's Bengali saying about the vulture. Vulture was starving, was spiritually free. Was starving for days, his ribs were coming out. It's just he was hardly remaining seated up on the branch, and he couldn't find any carcass, nothing to eat for such a long time. Couldn't even fly practically, coming so weak. And then he saw the cow. Cow came. Oh, he got excited. Cow came, and cow was grazing. And then the vulture said, I curse you to die. And the cow goes, what's the use of your curse? So what was so I curse you this, I curse you that. You don't have any shakti, you don't practice anything, it's used. But of course, Jara is a little bit different. Jara, she did some practice. She's practicing something. She wouldn't be in Srimad Bhagavatam. She's very special, just in some ways. So she cursed Narada Muni. She cursed Narada Muni. And there were some consequences, as we see, which wouldn't affect Narada Muni, of course. That's there. But I'm just trying to point to that psychology. That psychology. That as soon as you don't get your gratification, you want to harm the other person who is not cooperating, responding to your desire to attain sense gratification. You see, no, you have that experience. You want to do something and have somebody just doesn't respond. Sometimes it happens in married life also. It's like sometimes somebody's very much more, let's say, passionate or something, and then the other person is not. So it doesn't match. They don't respond, or whatever. In so many other cases also, like we said, the things don't match, and then okay, if I can't have it, then nobody can have it. See that destructive mentality. I can't have that girl, then nobody will have that girl. And then they throw acid in the face or something. Some other nonsense. I've heard of this ridiculous religiosities. That they go on. Horrible, horrible things. I can't have it, then nobody will have it. It's just madness. It's just really becoming madness. Or like this, all different types of relationships that go on, and then there's no cooperation because there's a lot of self-centeredness going on, and then like you see with any partner, we just don't have to talk about ladies or whatever, gents also, whatever it is. Anybody becomes dissatisfied, and then they seek some kind of revenge. Nowadays, we've heard of so many court cases going on. So many. There was one just recently, one devotee. His wife put like cases he's still struggling. So such a heavy. She accused him of forcing her into illicit relationships. It's just all nonsense, all nonsense. But the law is such that until really proven innocent, you just have to go through the hell. So many things. So if I can't have my gratification in a way that I like something, then any other person then does make it hell for them. So these are very serious things that are going on. But that's the mentality. That's the mentality. We think that everybody has to cooperate with us. See? So we should think that everybody is selfish. Let's get that straight first. Everybody is self-centered. Until you put Krishna at the center, don't expect any cooperation in this world. If you get there, you have a relationship or something. If Krishna is at the center, and everybody, people curse each other. Being appointed that somebody didn't cooperate. Sometimes how much you can cooperate. Somebody can be unsatiated absolutely also, even if you try. And still there's being appointed your material existence. So it's easy, You don't want to marry? Okay, I curse you. Joy. Very, very nice. But as I said, fortunately, nobody has Shakti, and these curses are not so effective. So that's one good thing. That's something that one can at least have some relief about. But of course, somebody they can make some trouble. They make some trouble, especially if you're legally obliged, then that's a serious problem. Then you get it really in a low place. So here Srila Prabhupada explains, and the purport. So Narada Muni has the transcendental body. He is the most kind devotee of the Lord, and he travels throughout the world, and he just wants to make his preaching, make everybody the Vaishnava. And he doesn't ordinarily stay long at any place, he travels. So, so she cursed him. She cursed him that you won't be able to stay long in one place. So for devotee, that's actually a blessing. It's actually a blessing. So what's the aim? Why to go and travel, Rolling Stones almost. So for Narada Muni, it's just like remember one past time in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there was one so-called sannyasi who had a wife, and Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, they didn't know he had a wife. He was outside and he saw them dancing. He was attracted, invited them to go. And they said, "Oh, this is my wife." What were you talking about? How come she can be a wife? She's supposed to be some kind of dancer. And then he said, "No, anyway, now we sit down." So they were like cooks. And then, okay, they sat down and they were kind of, to serve them and offer them something. And then I think they took some fruits, something like that. And then he said, "Now it's time for," I think he said, nectar. So he said, "I will bring nectar now." And then Lord Nityananda figured it out. He said, "Oh, what is that nectar? What is this?" And then Lord Nityananda, let's get out. Run away. Nectar meant some liquor. And then they run. That's right. Running something so contaminating everything. And there was something that person cursed them, that you won't be able to be happy in material life, something like that. And I said, well, that's a blessing. For a devotee, that's such a blessing, not to be happy in material life. So that's not a curse at all. So like this, even if it's whatever it is, doesn't matter. If we keep on serving Krishna, then we will not be affected, that's the lesson, that's the point. And actually, so-called what materialist thing that's a curse for the body, actually that's a blessing. That's the point. And also from the spiritual point of view, everything can be converted. Everything that we see negative, actually, the connection to Krishna is absolutely positive. So that's what devotees do. So there's nothing that is bad. If you see anything bad, then you're not Krishna conscious, because everything happens under Krishna's control. So if whatever happens, we somehow rather see some positive side, we see in connection to Krishna, and so beneficial. And that's Krishna consciousness. And there is no duality. What is duality? This world is a world of duality. Heat, cold, pain, pleasure, honor, dishonor. So many dualities are there. But as long as we only see things disconnected from Krishna, we don't have to face duality. Once you're able to think, because you're Krishna conscious. It's just like you say, you're looking at the sun. You're looking at the sun. But as soon as you turn away yourself from the sun, immediately the shadow is there. As long as you face the sun, there's no duality. Yeah? So as long as we're conscious, we won't be affected by anything so-called good, so-called bad in this material. It won't matter. But at least we should have this training like this. We shouldn't have false expectations. We just be Krishna conscious, depend on Krishna consciousness. And that's what's very nice. Now again, this marathon month is coming. We try to see, meditate, contemplate a little bit how we can distribute some books, and engage in this process of, yes, it's a process of purification also, but it's an enormous learning process. It's an enormous learning process. And no matter how much we try to attempt sometimes to give the books, they might not go, because people will refuse. They'll purify it. But again, don't be attached. Be attached to the service. And you learn so much. That's why it said in this lifetime, Prabhupada said in this lifetime you can go back to God's life. Because this service itself, it's so powerful. It's so much realization, you get so much purification, you get also so much taste for Krishna consciousness. One lifetime, no other process can do for lifetime. That's the Sankirtan mission. That's Chaitanya Prabhu. If you engage, you'll have that experience. And you'll see how powerful it is, and you'll see how devotees become so Krishna conscious. You're so Krishna conscious. I remember many times we were traveling here in India and the West, whatever it is. You just can't be non-Krishna conscious because it's so intense. The process is so intense. You're just forced. Sometimes you feel like crying. Sometimes nothing happens. You're forced to surrender. You're just forced to surrender. Your ego, your everything, your all misconceptions, you're just forced to surrender. You keep on going, you keep on doing. And you see that Krishna is successful, and this happened, that happened. You learn so much. You learn so much. I learned a lot. I remember my favorite was going door to door. Nowadays becomes more difficult. Society's showing us this, that, so I'm now. But I love going door to door. I remember door to door. And then you go and the man opens and then you present the book, everything nice, and then you hear from me. I say, oh no, you know maybe that's a problem. She doesn't want it. And then they start fighting this and this. And then you see inside what is the situation, what is the family life like. You learn so many things. How books go and books don't go, and this happens and that happens. Really, it's such a learning experience. And you don't have any expectation, you just learn. The only thing you learn how to depend on Krishna, and how to surrender to Krishna, and how to continue doing service. And that's what is spiritual. So when you're in such position, then you just see, how many amazing realizations. That's what it says. Just the progress is just like quantum leap. Such an enormous progress, because that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us this process. Such a powerful process. Yes, it's intense. It's sometimes it's not easy to bear it, but it's enormously powerful process. And but when you start doing it, you just realize how powerful, therefore, it is, and how much you really gain. how much you'll learn. So that's why, then, when you meet someone like this, or in any relationship or something, you just learn what is, to some extent, what is the reality. And you learn also not to have false expectations. And you don't curse others when they don't respond. They're not obliged to respond. Absolutely not. Even Krishna is not holding anyone accountable. Krishna says, here's the man. Like he said to Arjuna, the whole Gita, he said, now it's up to you. So now, Arjuna, what are you going to do? It's up to you. You decide. Yeah? Krishna is not forcing. He's presenting. He does his duty. That's it. It's up to you now. There's no expectation. It would be nice, but no force. So that's what we also have to learn. We do our best and then leave it. Leave it up to Krishna, leave it to others. But we gain for doing what we're supposed to do. That's your dharma. You do what you're supposed to do. Be and remain detached. Then you can be happy. As long as you are attached, I did so much, and this, and I have so many expectations. Then you see how many problems you have. Or how many disappointments. That's how here Chara. She's very attached and she's very vengeful, and she represents this attachment of material existence and material attachments. And Narada Muni is just the contrary. He's very, even cursed, whatever. He'll turn that into Krishna consciousness, and he won't mind. But he won't get entangled. He'll just follow whatever duty and service he does, and that is his Krishna consciousness. Go and travel around the universe and preach. He would have preached to Jara also, but anyway, they don't want to get entangled. Actually, he goes and he's preaching. He's not going to allow himself for his own any personal. Of course, he doesn't have. First of all, he doesn't have any personal selfish motive. And then why would he left so many others, bereft his realization and his Krishna consciousness for the sake of being entangled with someone? He's not going to allow it. Okay, so even curse of Kalakanya is fortunate. He just added him another additional fuel to continue doing what he was doing. That means preaching throughout the universe. Okay, it's getting late. Any questions or comments? Yeah.
What is best for today's generation?
What is best for today's generation? That's individual. Marriage, it depends. There's some people for them marriage is good. Huh?
What are the kinds of?
I don't know what are 8 kinds of marriages. Wait a second. First, let's clarify the first question. Marriage, is it good or it's not? So it's a learning process. It's an ashram. Ashram means place of sacrifice. You can make it an ashram, then it's good. The difficulty is to make it an ashram. Ashram means place of purification, place of worship. So that's not easy. So if you qualify and then you can make it as such, then there is no problem. Because grihastha is also, as a term known as grihastha brahmachari, who just engages in sex life for procreation of children. If one can do that, then he's equally brahmachari as anybody else. If he has that much sense control and knows the purpose of life, but it's rare and it's difficult. So it has to be seen what is one's individual position, and then one should be encouraged accordingly. So it depends. Prabhupada said if you can avoid it, it's better. He said every man should remain a brahmachari, every woman should be married. Is that clear?
One more.
Wait a second, is that clear?
Yes.
How is it clear? Yeah, but then how is that possible? Yeah, every man should remain brahmachari, every woman should marry. How is that possible? Huh? What? By serving Krishna. Both is. In essence, yes, that's nice. Anyway, Prabhupada, so one thing when he asked that, so how is that possible? That's your business. You figure it out. You figure it out. Huh?
It's a paradox.
Yeah, but Prabhupada said, how are we going to manage it? Yeah. Pishacha, Rakshasa, Gandharva, Kinara, Upadeva, no joke. I don't know how many times. First one is Brahma, that's considered when the founder influence the father arranges the marriage, that's the best. Because according to those in Brahma, then one is Prapti, what is the second one? Rajapatya. Asura. Asura means okay. Okay, now you heard. Okay. And anyway, the point is, according to whatever marriage, you get that kind of quality children, and you deliver so many generations, this and that. But it matters. It matters. It has that kind of effect. What is the quality of it? Yeah. Okay, second question.
You said that it should not really identify. You said Krishna in next relation. So why in ancient times kings have multiple wives?
Why in ancient times kings had
Like Raja Shankha have Ganga.
Okay. Many examples. Because they were very passionate. That's why they were kings. Rajasic. They had so much, passion. So then, and then another point was, so they had so much passion, and then they had so much facility, so that they could facilitate. So many ladies, they could give them their own palace, they could give them their own this and that, whatever. No? And then another point was that in Vedic cultural society, usually the ratio of the man would be more than a woman, more than 50%. No? And plus, again, still you have sometimes some brahmacharis, this and that. So then, as Prabhupada said, all ladies should be married. So then who would marry them? There wouldn't be so many men, so they will have to be married. So then some people would marry few wives. So that everybody's married and taken care of. And so that's how. So both things. Some people were more passionate and they use that passion in a legitimate way. Then another point is the ladies get facilitated and then the society would work. Okay? Okay. Okay, last.
So I have read that many types of uses and also so many wives that Krishna has so many wives.
Okay, so yes, we said already they had so many wives. So what's the question?
So the
Brahmanas can also have Kshatriyas also. But it's a responsibility. Yeah, it's not just easy to. And then you see what the problems are there when you have multiple wives. When they each other, don't tolerate each other or whatever. So it's not just sense gratification. So many things come along. Yeah.
Prabhuji, can you explain properly in this world there are a lot of dualities you were mentioning, and, like honor, dishonor. But if you are Krishna conscious and you don't get affected, very much.
So that's Uttama position. He doesn't see anything Krishna conscious. Even if somebody is not, we would say not Krishna conscious. He would say him as Krishna conscious. He just has that vision. He just doesn't see anything disconnected from Krishna. He already says it's a broader Krishna's plan. And everything is in connection to Krishna. Maybe not so immediate or not so obvious, but that's his vision, that's his Krishna. He's so Krishna conscious, he just doesn't see anything non-separate from Krishna. That's Uttam vision. Madhya makes distinction, enemies, friends, devotees.
So if you look at Pandavas, Mahabharata, they were
Arjuna, I mean, that's why Yudhishthira said he didn't have an enemy. Ajatashatru.
But if you take Bhim's example,
Yeah, Bhima was a little bit. Okay. So Yudhishthira was more advanced. Okay, 9 o'clock. We'll stop here. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Bhagavatam ki jai.